What's good, Space Cowboys? Zero here, bringing you another ship guide, and today we are looking at the Kepler R. This is a wild one here. This is actually a ship you can get for free. So the Kepler R is a ship that you can get from doing a quest. Ekland will ask you to do some favors. I believe the quest is called Overdesigned. Let me take a look here. It's one of our miscellaneous quests. Yeah, Overdesigned right here. So Ekland will ask you to go to Stroud Ekland's Star Yards, and there's a lot of options with this quest, so I'm not sure all of the different possible outcomes that you might get. You have to kind of convince all of the designers about the choices that you want this ship to be. I basically went with the kitchen sink. I wanted all of their ideas, even though it might have been the most expensive, ridiculous version. There are four kind of different paths you can kind of go, like with a freighter, a fighter, an explorer, and then I don't really remember what the fourth option was, but I said I wanted it all, and I was able to persuade all of them to all go along with it, so I got the wild hodgepodge here. But we're going to take a look at the Kepler R. Again, you might get a different version depending on what you end up choosing from your choices throughout the quest, and what you are able to persuade them on and how you kind of proceed through that. But we're going to take a look at what this looks like as far as the kitchen sink version here, and it really is pretty much everything that you could think of thrown into this thing. It's not my favorite ship, but it has a lot of room for modification, and because it comes with a lot of stuff already stock on it, it's not going to be too hard, I think, to modify to kind of fit maybe more of what your playstyle might be with the ship. It has great cargo capacity, pretty good fuel range. We'll see there's actually, I think, 7 of these fuel pods on the ship here. Pretty good jump range. Reactor is definitely something I would swap out. The reactor power is only 24. Not the best reactor that you could get at this level, but again, this is a free ship, so you know, pretty good. Its value is very high. You could just straight up sell it if you wanted to, but we'll take a look at kind of what it has on it, maybe some modifications I would make to it if I was actually going to keep and fly this thing, and then we'll take a tour of the inside and see how it actually holds up in battle here. One thing I will say that I really do love about this are these massive vertical takeoff engines here. These are pretty similar to the ones that come on the Frontier, except like way bigger. Way bigger than that, so you can actually use these on some of your Class C reactor ships, which is pretty nice. These are the Supernova 2200s. I actually don't even have the Starship design right now to be able to install these myself. I think they require level 4, and I am only at level 2. So these are pretty advanced engines, which is nice. The shield's not so great. We'll take a look at some of the storage is great. I mean, you got a lot of storage, and you can even upgrade a few of these to a little bit larger ones if you wanted. There's another space on this side if you wanted to get that a little bit more symmetrical and add another one on there. There's a bit of asymmetry going on with some of these things. Like, I'm not quite sure why they did these two, laser cannons sort of off, one up, one down. I mean, I guess there is some beauty in asymmetry too. Sometimes it bothers me, my OCD kind of kicking in there, but alright, definitely room for more weapons as well. We only have 2 of our 3 weapon slots actually kitted out. I would definitely throw some missiles on here, but let's take a look at the ship in general here. 6 crew, that's pretty nice. Alright, let's go ahead and jump into our ship builder here.
What can I do for you?
And see exactly what modules they have installed on this and what I might change out. So like I said, they have the Supernova 2200s, which are really good engines. I think these are some of the best. There might be better engines in the game. I'm not sure, but I think it's one of the best engines. Definitely lots of room on the back to throw on a couple more. You know, the mobility is pretty slow. 56, not great. Although if you do dump a lot of your power into engines, if you're really trying to move quickly, it does get up there pretty fast. I think a boost speed will get up to around 300 or so if you're throwing all that power into your engines. However, 56 mobility is not great. I would definitely throw another couple engines on the back, possibly 2 or even 3. You could maybe fit 4, but I don't know if you're actually going to have the power or ability to do that. I'm not quite sure. I haven't modified this ship myself yet. Grab drive is actually fine. I probably wouldn't touch that at all. I think it's good enough for this ship. It has a pretty good range. You don't really need to mess with that. What I would definitely change out is this reactor. It is an okay reactor, but it only is going to generate 24 power, which is not a lot. I mean, I would definitely look at one of the other reactors that are going to give you 35. Where's my reactors? And again, I don't even have, you know, the max Starship design. You know, if you're running one of these DC-403s, you know, that's going to give you 38. And that would be a prime one to throw in there. But even if you have just a couple ranks of Starship design, you can put in one of these 402s, which is going to give you 34. Far cry better than the 24. I mean, 10 extra power is a lot, and that is not going to really cost you a whole lot for that upgrade. So that is probably the number one upgrade I would do on this, is a new reactor. I would also add some other weapons. I mean, these are pretty good weapons, these railguns and these lasers. They pack pretty good punch. There's probably slightly better ones. They are point and shoot, not turrets, which was something that is this large with this low mobility. You might want to have a little bit of turret action going on there. The shields are pretty weak as well. You probably could pop that on for a better shield system. So my order of upgrades would probably be reactor, a couple extra engines, maybe a better shield, definitely at least one more set of weapons, maybe some missiles mounted on these wings right here or right here maybe. Or you could add some weapon mounts if you wanted them somewhere else. As far as modules go, let's see here if we can pull apart some of these things. So you do have a captain's quarters. This thing is actually really hard to get around, and the stairways are real, or the ladders are in terrible placement. Not the best design. But we asked for everything, the kitchen sink, and they gave it to us. We have a mess hall. We have an infirmary, which I love this module, by the way. Let's see if we can get in there. So that's the mess hall, the 2i3. Let's just move some of this stuff out of the way here. So we got the captain's quarters, that big old mess hall. Battle stations, which I love, that Ekland Stroud battle stations. There's your infirmary. Storeroom, that's right where you come into the entrance. Not my favorite cockpit, the Viking cockpit here. These are storeroom, which goes right up into the docking hatch. I think that is the only modules that I remember walking through when I was looking at it earlier. I think that's it. So, you know, pretty decent smattering. I love the mess hall. The battle stations is nice. The captain's quarters is okay. Infirmary is a fun little add there if you haven't ever put that on your ship. I think that's a good one to include. There's no crew quarters from what I've seen. Maybe I've missed them. I'm not 100 on that. But we'll take a look at the inside and find out for sure. Thank you, friend. Alright, let's take a look at this big old beast. Ooh, she's a beauty. Get up on her. So those are some big old laser cannons. Again, I don't really know why they decided to go off kilter here. So one's top, one's bottom. It doesn't really matter. They shoot straight on. There's that terrible Viking cockpit. It's not terrible. It's actually pretty good. I just don't like the visibility. And there's our ballistics. Some people prefer the particle weapons to lasers or ballistics. I mean, a lot of people are really hating on ballistics. So you might want to swap those out if you're one of those people who are not a fan of the ballistic. You can see you do have these hard points here where you can add in those. Probably I would add missiles right here on these hard points here, or you could do it on these front fins here. You've also got the same hard points right there you could add. Look at those vertical takeoff engines though. That is just gorgeous. They're huge. Oh man, they're huge. Coming up underneath, you can see all these hydrogen or helium-3 fuel tanks. There are so many. There are 7 of these things on this ship. So you can pretty much get to anywhere you are trying to get to in the galaxy with a 30 light year jump range, and I think it was something, what, almost like 2400, 2500 helium-3 fuel storage. You are definitely gonna get to where you're going. I do like they have windows on every deck, so you will be able to actually see out. I think that's a nice touch. I really enjoy designs that include windows in them. You know, structurally, maybe not the best thing if you're going into a fight, but I don't think this takes that into account. It is pure aesthetics. Those are some beefy engines right there. Look at those bad boys. Several decks we're going to have to climb up here to get all the way out. If you're ever docking with the station, you got to climb up 5 decks. It is a pain. Alright, so we come into this storage module right here, and we're going to climb up to our first deck. I believe the mess hall was on this deck right here. Or, I'm sorry, this was the battle stations. Maybe the mess hall is up on the next deck. Is this the infirmary and battle stations?
Yes? You need something?
Yes. So here's our infirmary module, if you've never seen that before. Quite nice. Got a research station right there, pharmaceutical station. Always a good idea to have a infirmary for some wounded crew. I love the tactical stations here in this command center. Really nice module to add. Big old navigation console, huge navigation console. All of your crew stations around here. Again, this thing crews 6 people, which is quite a lot. Could be larger if you added some other modules as well if you're modifying this. Straight into the mess hall, and this is what I was talking about terrible ladder placement. It pops right next to the captain's table. I mean, who wants somebody climbing out of a ladder right next to the captain's table? Come on. Mess hall module. This is always a nice module if you have space for it on your ship. If you're making a pretty large build, it's definitely a good idea if you're going for sort of a realistic ship. I mean, if you got a big crew, you got to have a mess hall. We're not going to go all the way up. So if you go all the way up here, there's just a 1x1. This is just a storage. Really not even sure quite why that's there. You could shave down the top of this thing a lot, lower down that engine in the back, and it would still be fine. But they have to get this up to the edge for that hatch, that docking hatch. Like I said, there's windows on every deck. I love that there's this sort of just vertical alignment of windows all the way up and down the ship. Alright, here we have our captain's quarters. Again, what captain wants people climbing through their private quarters to get to the bridge? Poorly designed Ekland Stroud, or Stroud Ekland. Disappointed, even though I'm the one who told you what to do. If you've watched my other ship videos, you've already heard my thoughts on this bridge, so I won't share them again. It's okay. Not the best. Let's take off, see if we can't get ourselves in a fight. So again, like I said, you could really take off that top bit. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's there because the grav drive is sticking up to the top, but I don't know. I think you could modify this in a way that would shave that down one deck, at least. I mean, I don't know, maybe you could put the grav drive up in front where you have some of just these hull pieces. Who knows? I don't know if it has to be in back, does it? I don't know if I've seen anybody make a ship with a grav drive in the front. Anyways, let's take off. Let's get in a fight. Let's see how she does. Oh, look at that vertical takeoff power. I love those landing struts. This is a big, beefy ship, that is for sure.
Position. And we are now in stable orbit.
It's a beauty, though. Even for as big and clunky as it is. Man, it feels like a big space turtle. Not too bad looking for a kitchen sink here. Alright, so let's get us into a fight. See if I can survive. My favorite place lately to go pick a fight is over here in Serpentis, which is a place I can never find. There we go. Serpentis 4. Sounds great. Let's do it. Somebody here's got to be mad that I'm in their space. Usually it doesn't take too long before somebody gets pretty angry that I'm in Serpentis. Usually the Valrune. Looks like nobody's home today. Let's try. Well, hostile activity. That's always a good sign. Vigil 2, level 32. Alright, so looks like we got a couple contacts. So I took just a slight amount of hull damage. But as you can see, not too bad. It fares decent in a fight against a couple level 30s. I haven't modified this at all. Don't really have much skill. It all invested in my ships. Just one skill point into shields. So that is the Kepler R, guys. Again, this is a free ship. Even if you don't plan on flying it, go do that quest, and sell this bad boy. Again, the quest to get this was Overdesigned. Overdesigned was the name of the quest, and you get that from Ekland. Ekland will give that to you, and then you just kind of follow. You got to go to Ekland Star Yards, which is in the Narian system. Convince them of what you want to build, and then eventually you will get this ship for free. It is a decent ship. It is a free ship. Go out there, fly, have fun. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one. Cheers.